next public hearing is notice hereby given in accordance with provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 5. Quincy Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 12th, on or after 9:00 p.m. in the first floor Boards and Commissions Room, Quincy City Hall, 1305 Hancock Street. The purpose of the hearing is to give interested parties the opportunity to comment on Council Order 2017-22, proposing changes to the City of Quincy zoning ordinance, Title 17, Section 3, Use Regulations, Subsection 3.1.4, Table of Use Regulations, Appendix A, Table of Use Regulations. The proposed amendment would add the following footnote to Appendix A. In Residence B zoning districts, no new building or structure shall be constructed for use as a multifamily dwelling, an apartment house, for apartments, or as attached dwellings or condominiums in any existing building or structure within a Residence B zoning district shall not be arranged, designed, built, altered, converted, rented, or leased to be used so as to result in an increase or an extension of the use to or as a multifamily dwelling, an apartment house, for apartments or attached dwellings for condominium use for a period of 1 year from the date of approval of this section in conformance with Chapter 48 of the Mass General Laws. Okay, anybody wishing to speak on this?
It's me again. Chris Pappas, 146 Hawkins Avenue. Just like I said previously, we recently, my brother and I, recently went through presenting plans to this board. Like I said, they were thoroughly vetted, fairly, I must say. And now we're under a deadline to build. And so there's, I consider it not fair for people that already have approved plans, not just myself, but others, I'm sure. We've registered our plans with the Registry of Deeds. We're currently in the permit process. Again, there's other people just like us, I'm sure. And like I said, it doesn't appear to be fair for a number of reasons. One, because like I said, we have gotten approval from this board. And secondly, I feel like this board has done a very good job in vetting any of the plans that come through here, so that they fit the neighborhood. They're not super extravagant. We had to go through a stormwater plan. We had to go through meeting parking restrictions, that would fit the neighborhood. We followed the letter of the law. We did everything that was asked of us, and now we're going to be stopped from building for a year. I don't even know if both of those ordinances passed, would we even be stopped completely. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly what, how it sounds, but the way it was written, there's no caveat for people like myself. We weren't looking to build anything tremendously big, high, to not fit the neighborhood. So that was the other thing I was going to say. I think that's basically it. I mean, I think both these ordinances, as was kind of mentioned by a couple people on the board, it doesn't reflect well on the board, like the way they were written, because the board does their job. They take everything into account. Setbacks, zoning. I even heard Jay Duca one time say that if we didn't have zoning, no one would be able to build anything here, because all the setbacks, you wouldn't be able to build not one thing. You'd always have to go through zoning. Every single project has to go through zoning here. So both of these ordinances deal with the zoning board and the planning board. And I don't want to repeat myself anymore, but I would be against this ordinance also.
Can I just ask you one quick question? The decision that you recorded at the Registry of Deeds,
yeah.
The date of that decision, do you know if it was prior to the advertising for this?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
About a year ago.
Okay, so, and I'm not an attorney, but I will just tell you my past experiences, that as long as the decision properly recorded was issued prior to the zoning ordinance, the proposed zoning ordinance, then you can petition for a permit. But again, I'm not an attorney. Right. That was always my understanding of it.
It was about a year ago.
So well in advance of the advertising, because this would have been advertised in the last 60 days.
Right. And the other thing is we're under a deadline, so
Permits-
And
building permits
the other
good for
thing
6
I,
months.
what was that?
Building permit's good for 6 months.
Right.
Once you get it.
Right. What you get. And we're in the middle of that
Okay.
now.
Good, okay.
The other thing, I just want to mention one last thing. We're here for the other people that may not know what you just said, so that they understand, you know, people kind of, oh, okay, so I would be, so, anyway, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak?
I'll be quick.
John?
John Phil, 62 Grand Wall Road. Yeah, just want to get it on record that I'm against this proposal. I'm against changing of the residential B zoning code. You know, I am for a permanent business zone C change, but we just didn't get that, you know, I mean, the zoning needs to change, and I'm not sure who really does the changing of the zoning code, but this really, I don't really understand this part either, because this does make it very confusing, because in all reality, if you were to approve this, just at the last meeting, there's always things like this. That doesn't make any sense for what just happened earlier in the meeting for you to go against this. So we have to be for development, and then with the housing development, we need more housing. I mean, 1978, that's the lead paint thing. I'm a realtor, and it's like we need new inventory in Quincy. So, I mean, I guess the board, maybe a good idea would be maybe you have to knock the house down to not allow people to add on an addition, because I've heard that many times where people are adding on almost like a second house to a house that's already existing. So just get on record, please, that I'm against the zoning change.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak? Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Okay,